He just wanted to produce it.
Okay.
And on seeing this guy's short films, which he had made a series of CG short films mixed with live action that were based in the Halo universe, which are very impressive if you get a chance to find them online.
Okay.
He said, you know what? This is the guy. And so he brought him in, spent a lot of money working with him and trying to get this deal, but the deal fell apart completely.
Okay.
So kind of apparently feeling bad about having spent so much time of pulling this guy away from the other stuff he was doing, he decided to ask him if he wanted to take this short film that he had made. Shoot, I'm looking up the name of it. I had it right here and now I lost it. It's anyway, I'll find it in a minute. But there was a short film he had made that was sort of like the premise of this, Alive in Joburg, which is on YouTube and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You can find.
Cool.
And say, do you want to expand this into a full film? Using some of the techniques you were doing with these Halo things. Yeah, this last third, if you didn't know, if someone just showed you this last third and said, this is Halo the movie, you'd go, oh my God, that looks amazing. And it is just like Halo.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, it's really not a Halo movie. But
No.
you know what? To me, after seeing this, I don't really need a Halo movie. I feel like I've seen, well, what could Halo offer me that this couldn't?
I mean, I could see it. Like, it's even mildly insinuated at the end that there's room for a sequel.
Sure.
I mean, even so far as saying the name in a way. But if they did do one of this, it would seem like, you know what, let's not repeat ourselves. Let's see a bunch of GIs on their planet.
Right.
Which would be Halo the movie.
That's true. That's true. One thing I will say about this movie is, yeah, you're right. The last third, it's all full of action. But the first part of it, certainly the first act, not much action at all. I just found it really disturbing. I mean, I was squirming and twitching in my seat through most of it.
It's kind of a gross out fest at points, but with stuff you kind of haven't seen before either. It's so new, and it's you're very nervous for these characters because we don't know anything about these aliens. We don't know what's happened to this guy. It's very a sense of like, when you really, really have no idea what's coming next, and it's consistently throwing icky stuff at you that's just building and building, you get really nervous, and it makes those gross outs even more.
Well, for me, like, the squirm factor is not so much the gross outs, although they were effective, but it's just the ugliness of humanity that's in it. I mean, just watching that and the potential for violence around every corner and it catching you by surprise. I just had so many jumps, and it just made me feel dirty watching it, but in a good way. I mean, so many movies that just don't affect you at all. And this, I found it very effective.
This manages to say something in the first 20 minutes when most movies save its message for the end. And then once it's got you there already. It's like, okay, we've made our point. Now let's blow some shit up real good.
That's true. Yeah, of course, in the middle, you think, all right, well, this is going to be one of those quiet type movies, and I can settle down into that.
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah. And
but
it's like, no. I mean, honestly, if you haven't seen this and you're going to go, I envy you because you have such great surprises waiting for you. I mean, some things, there's a certain part, which I won't say what it is, but to coin your expression, it was full of fuck yeah.
Yes, it was. I know what you're talking about. And it was so totally full of fuck yeah. There's a couple sequences like that in about a 10-minute sequence that you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something that a problem I had with this, and it's not a big problem, but it was there. It stuck with me a little bit, which is, why didn't the aliens just use all that hardware they had saved up themselves and just start fucking shit up?
That is a question that, like, by the end, because before that, you don't know how well the aliens can or cannot communicate with humans.
True.
But by the end, you certainly have at least one alien who, him and the humans communicate just fine.
Yeah.
And they understand their weapon technology. So there was that question of like, hey, with weapons like this, what stopped them from just taking over?
Yeah.
Or even just communicating the whole situation better.
The very least standing up for themselves.
Yeah.
And not just being ghetto rats.
Yeah.
But the assumption is they were trying to get back to their ship. So.
True. Well, it seems like, that's the thing. Like, it's also one of these commentaries where, like, after 20 years, most of them didn't seem to be thinking about getting back to their ship. They were just living, they had acclimated to living in a slum.
They had accepted that was their lot.
Yeah.
There was also another thing that it didn't bother me, but it took me out of the movie for a moment, because the film really starts as a faux documentary.
Right.
For like 20 minutes, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And then bit by bit, it starts inserting switching back and forth from that to stuff that clearly isn't. That's
right.
just, a movie. And it's a little off-putting at first because your brain has to make that switch. You have to go, oh, wait, which are we watching now? What's happening? Is there supposed to be a camera there too?
Well, it seems to come back around in as much as we really started out watching an actual documentary.
Yeah.
But at some point they just decided to show us like, well, rather than watch this camera's account of it, let's show you what was really going on.
Yeah. Here's some actors. It's like Cops.
Yeah.
We've got a dramatization here.
It's funny how far we've come along with the whole mockumentary shaky cam style.
Yeah.
Because I think about like back when movies like The Blair Witch Project, or I was thinking about Woody Allen's Husband and Wives, one of the early movies done completely with the shaky cam, and kind of made everybody nauseous to watch them. But now after TV shows like Cops and so much reality TV, so many movies doing that, now we watch them and it's just no big deal.
I never understand why it's always the same people who complain about shaky cam movies, cinema verite films, who watch nothing but reality television.
Right.
It's like, this is what you watch. This is what you spend money on. Why are you complaining about your films being this way? This is the message you're sending Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we like this.
Yeah.
And even like people like me who hate reality TV, it's like, wow, I've really gotten used to it. I've become acclimated to it, to where my eyes just, there's that evolution of the vision just being able to focus and not get seasick.
And yet, if I was to watch this and then say any number of reality TV shows on network, I would say this is the one that was real.
Well, that's true.
This really happened.
Less editing going on with this.
Talk real quick before we wrap this up about how good the effects were here.
Because well, what, $30 million was the budget?
I've heard it was $30 million.
Which is cheap, and man, you can see where every dollar was spent.
Oh, yeah, and it's beautiful.
It really is.
These aliens are, every bit of them is doing something at any given time. They are an alien race. They're not some cheap out thing. They are all too organic and odd and different from us, and are just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, this ain't Farscape where they use Muppets.
No, these are not Muppets. Although I like the Farscape Muppets, but what are you gonna do? These are amazing. All the other special effects that go with it, the alien spaceship, all that stuff, the specialized guns they use, it looks great, and you can't help but ask, how much did Transformers 2 cost?
Oh, I know.
How much did G.I. Joe cost? And that looked like shit.
Yeah, G.I. Joe looked like shit, and Transformers, while it, I guess, looked good, you couldn't tell what the fuck was going on in it.
And, what needs to be done to be able to convince Hollywood that it's not all about just keep throwing hundreds of millions of dollars against something until you can put out a product placement for a toy, that you can actually make a film like this that you will continue to make money from on sales of whatever the next new fancier technology is of home release until the cows come home.
Right.
People are still going to keep buying the Alien series 50 years from now.
True. Well,
I doubt they'll still be spending as much money on the Transformers.
Okay,
series.
But here's the thing. Like, time, you can somehow move things around and make time, and money is a resource that you can find money, you can work extra, you can make money, but getting enough smart people together to make something, that's what's hard.
You have to go to New Zealand, apparently.
Yeah. Something like this, a smaller production, not a lot of, no big Hollywood names, no egos to deal with. Yeah, that's when you can make something smart and rewatchable.
I guess that's true. Well, my hats are off to Peter Jackson and Neil Blomkamp.
Blomsky.
Blomsky.
Hey, wasn't that guy the abomination in the comics?
That's true. He was.
Who fought the Hulk?
I guess he must have found a way to reverse the gamma radiation. But we promised we wouldn't do any comic references. So
did we? I never signed that piece of paper.
Oh well, then good. Go ahead. I'll just sit here. That's our review.
But yeah, this is clearly a full price movie.
Oh, this is so full price. I'm tempted.
Are you going to do it?
No, I'm not.
Not going to pull the trigger on it?
I'm not. But if I don't know. It's a film I'm going to see several more times, and I might eventually go there. But I'll tell you, it's as close as it gets.
Yes.
This is an amazing film.
It really is.
And you need to see it in the theater.
And you never expect to close out the summer with a movie this good.
No.
Usually we only get shit by this point.
Well, I guarantee you the studio probably thought this was a chancy proposition.
I suppose so. It's too bad. They really should, they should be advertising this. They should have their whole machine behind it.
This is a gigantic work of art, and it needs to be seen by everyone. And if it does, then maybe the studios will start financing more stuff like this. Smart science fiction mixed with badass action, instead of just a bunch of really childish stuff with bad CG.
You know what District 9 needs is a toy.
You know what? That might be it. That might be the next step. Of course, then we'll probably, around District 14, we'll be like, God damn you, Leon.